the olden days, so there was the Jewish army went out. And the Jewish army that went out was completely different to the Jewish army nowadays. How did they choose the Jewish army in the olden days?
Told them, cut off your little finger. Mm-hmm. Actually, sorry, that's the wrong way. No. Yeah.
The wrong story.
That's the wrong story.
Yeah. There was a story with Bar Kochva.
Yeah, Bar Kochva, yeah.
Bar Kochva had a city, and he wanted mighty men to be a part of his army. And at first he said, whoever wants to be part of his army, he was after the Roman destruction of the temple. They said, whoever wants to be part of the army, cut off one finger and show that you're committed, basically. And then the rabbis didn't like that. So in the end, they said, whoever can uproot a cedar tree with the bare hands can join the army. That was the army of Bar Kochva. Yeah. So you reckon that you're going to Pure Gym and you're doing all right, yeah? But these guys were way beyond you, and they didn't have to pay for it. Okay? This is the thing. Okay. So the Jewish army of old. How does the Torah in the year roughly 2448, the Torah, 2449, the Torah was given. We're talking about 3,300 years ago. The Jews come into Israel 40 years later. What defines a Jewish army? So the Rambam says what the Torah is about to tell us is talking about a time when the Jews had an optional war. It wasn't a war that was coming onto them, it was an optional war. They needed to choose an army for this optional war. So what the Torah tells us is as follows. They gathered the people, everybody came and everyone said, Yalla, we want to come towards this army. We want to join the army. 20,000 people gathered, okay. And the Torah tells us, how did they do the choosing process? Nowadays, you got to go to certain, they check your intellect, they check your capacity, they check whether you're fit or not, where you should go in the army. Can you go into the Air Force? Can you go into the front line? Should you be in computer? Should you have a desk job? What should you be doing? So how did they choose who's going to go where? So first, it says that they came and they gave them, Amar Aleim Shema Yisrael, Atem krevim hayom lamilchama al oivechem, al yirah levavchem. Don't be frightened, don't be weakened, because God Almighty is going to fight the war for you. That's the first thing that the Kohen, the priest who was leading the war, would tell them. So everybody's, okay. What's next? V'dibru hashotim elam. Suddenly the policemen, the MPs, right, military police come, and they say to them, okay, following people, please stand on the side. Or get ready to stand on the side. Not yet, get ready to go home. Mi ha'ish, who are the 4 categories of people we're going to send home? So who would you think they're going to send home?
Mad people.
Any limping person, any political, well, let's see. Says the Torah, Mi ha'ish asher bana bayit chadash. Who's the person that has built a new house? Velo chanacho. Not only built it, but he hasn't yet enjoyed it. He hasn't inaugurated it. He built this beautiful mansion. He's been working for 3-4 years on it. He got property, he got planning permission. He got this one built an outside, a beautiful garden, everything's amazing. And now they're calling him for the war. And he says, okay, you know what, I'm up for it. Let's go. I'm going to go and I'm going to beat these guys and then we're going to say, for Am Yisrael, let's do it. He gets to the war. The guy says, whoever's built a new house and hasn't yet inaugurated it, he's going to turn back. Why? Why? Why does he have to go back? Maybe this guy, God forbid, is going to die in the war, and someone else will take his house. Category number 1. Category number 2. Who is the person in Pasuk Vav? Mi ha'ish asher nata keren velo chilelo. Who's the person that planted a vineyard, but he hasn't yet redeemed it. He hasn't yet enjoyed it. He's been too busy. It's his 4th year. When you have a tree, so you plant a tree for the first time. Let's say and it starts to grow the fruit. The first 3 years, you're not allowed to take any benefit from the tree's fruit. The 4th year, there's a special thing. You have to redeem it in Yerushalayim, whatever. The guy's planted it. He hasn't yet enjoyed the fruit. Go back home, we say to him. Go back home. And the 3rd category is, why does he have to go back home? So Torah states, why does he have to go back home? Because he might die and someone else might enjoy the fruits. And the third category is who's somebody that has got engaged to a beautiful girl. He's been waiting a long time to get engaged. He finally got engaged.
And he's not married.
And he's not yet married. It's in between the engagement and the marriage. Go back home. Why? Because maybe he's going to, God forbid, die in the war. And someone else is going to take his bride. And then, after they finish telling these three categories, ויאספו השוטרים לדבר לעם, ואמרו מי האיש הירא ורך הלבב, ילך וישוב לביתו. Whoever is feeling weak in their heart, not feeling well, they should go home. Go home. So how many categories do we have so far? 4 categories. Anybody, number 1, anybody that built a house and hasn't yet inaugurated it. It's important. They could have built the house, but if they've inaugurated it, doesn't it? They built the house and they haven't inaugurated. Number 1. Number 2, anybody who has planted a vineyard. Who has planted a vineyard, but they haven't yet eaten of the fruit. And number 3, anyone who got engaged, but he hasn't yet got married. Because somebody else might take the goods. In all cases, someone might take his house, someone might take his vineyard, someone might take his wife to be. And finally, who's weak? Go back home. Listen to this. This is what the Torah says. So, this is the army that's going to fight against, as I said in the beginning, the Rambam says, an optional army. Well, what's the obvious question?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say that the third one has a lot of merit in my mind, right? Because he's going to have his bride, have children, and that will be what will help perpetuate the Jewish people, right? The first 2 seem very materialistic, particularly the first one. The second one also to some degree. The fourth one you can understand if faint-hearted or you're not well. That's
Fourth
fine.
one, everyone can understand.
Yeah,
It's the
but the
easiest.
first 2, just
First 3 even.
No, the third one, if he's not married, not yet married, and there's a potential to have children, then you could say for the future of the Jewish people to have more children.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Very good. So the first 2 maybe is problematic, but before you get onto that, why? Before we get onto that, who's going to be left? I don't think you get it. Who's going to be left? So there's a famous story that happened, I think it was in Spain. There was a big rabbi in the town, and the Spanish were very anti-Semitic. And they made a play. And they made a play about the Torah. So what did they do? They made a nice theater. Everybody was invited, the whole town was invited. And they make fun of this. They said, and the Jews closed up, and they said, whoever's planted, so you got about 50 people on the stage, whoever's built a house, go home. So 15 people go home. Whoever's planted a vineyard, go home. Another 15 people go home. Whoever's got engaged, go home. Another 10 people go home. Left with 10 people. Whoever is feeling weak and and worried, not confident, go home. 9 people go home. 1 person standing, and that's how the play ends. Everyone's laughing their heads off. This is the Jewish army. What are you talking about? This is how they chose the army to go out and fight a war. Who's going to be left standing? So they went to the rabbi, and they said, "This is what's happening in your town." And obviously, the person that was standing was the rabbi, right? They were making fun of the rabbi of the town, so they put him to look like the rabbi of the town. So he said to them, yeah, but the curtain shouldn't have gone down then. He said, he forgot to tell you that it was that one person that won the war. It was that one person that won the war. Am Yisrael, when we had an army of tzaddikim, that's it, no one could mess with us. We see in Hanukkah how the Maccabees were Yochanan and his 5 children, whatever they were, 13 altogether, or some midrashim, different chazal, they beat the entire Greek army. Not a joke. We see in the times of Tzidkiyahu, in the times of certain kings, when they were tzaddikim, they beat armies. There's no messing about. So the question is, who's left standing? So Rabotai, listen very carefully. There's a machloket in the Gemara in Sotah. The Gemara in Sotah brings down a debate between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yossi HaGlili on these words. Mi ha'ish hayareh levav. Who is frightened? Hayareh verach halevav. Who is frightened and has a weak, so to speak, heart? Rabbi Akiva says talking about somebody with a lack of confidence. You're going to come to the army and you're going to say, oh, going to get into a bit of a thing. Some terrorist going to come and shooting and this or the other, and you're going to be, so frightened and running away. And he's next to you, your friend, and another 3 friends are there, and they're relying on you, and you're not confident. So what's going to happen? They're in danger. You're putting them in danger. Go back home. Go back home. It's not for cowards. It's for people that are able to stand up and fight. Who says that? Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yossi Agilili says something else. Rabbi Yossi Agilili says something fantastic. Rabbi Yossi Agilili says, you know who we're talking about over here? It doesn't mean somebody who's lacking confidence because of the war. It means someone who's lacking confidence because they might have sinned. They might have done a sin. Says Rabbi Yossi Agilili, a general rule. Anybody who has not sinned will not perish in the war. It's a rule. Finish. So if you're certain you haven't sinned, go ahead and fight. But if you're worried that you're Shema Yigrom Hachet, maybe you've sinned lately, you've done a little bit of a sin, this or the other, it's a time of sakana, it's a time of danger, there's arrows flying around, there's bombs falling everywhere. Don't go and fight because Shema Yigrom Hachet, maybe the God will say, oh, this guy sinned, finish him off. Everyone understand? Beautiful words by Rabbi Yosef. So I saw an unbelievable question. If that's the case, that we're talking about somebody, according to Rabbi Yosef Gilili, who's fearing sin should go home, but whoever isn't fearing sin should stay. Yeah? So why is it that the other 3 categories are included in this whole accounting? You know what the Torah should have said? Whoever has not sinned, stay. Whoever has sinned or thinks they've sinned, go home. What does it need to tell us about a guy who's built a house, a guy who's got a vineyard, or a guy who's just got engaged? What difference? The bottom line factor is, did they think they sinned or not? Because at the end of the day, the guys who are standing are the guys that have not sinned. So even if they did build a house, they built a house, and they haven't yet inaugurated it, but they're not going to die because according to Rabbi Yosef Gilili, the only time they would die is if they sinned, and they think they haven't sinned, so they're not going to die. So why bringing these guys in? That doesn't even, you understand the question? Beautiful question. The answer is even more beautiful. Do you know why these 3 categories are going home? I'll explain to you with the following story.
They haven't got their heart in it.
There was a guy who was living, and his wife, after 2-3 years, has a baby. Baruch Hashem, he's very excited. They have their first baby, and they have a suffix, they have a doubt. What are they going to call their baby? They have 2 names in mind. Reuven and Yossi. Reuven and Yossi. So what do when they have a debate between the husband and wife? They go and ask the rabbi. They ask one of the Gedolei Ador, one of the big rabbis. They've been waiting for whatever, 3-4 years, whatever it was, for the baby. Finally they get the baby. They go to the rabbi and they say, listen, we're going to have the Brit Milah soon. And my husband likes Yossi and I like Reuven. And we're prepared to accept whatever the rabbi says. Right? So the rabbi says, you should call your son Reuven. Wow, look, Reuven means look, it's a son. So they thought, wow, because the rabbi says Reuben, because it means look, we had a son, that's why the rabbi says that. And the rabbi says, no. You see, you live in an apartment block, and above you, there's a lady, and a couple, and they have kids, and it's fantastic. The kids are a bit more grown up. But 15 years ago, this couple, son was crossing the road, and unfortunately a car came, didn't see him, little boy, knocked him over, and unfortunately, he passed away. And that boy's name was Yossi. Now what's going to happen? You're going to have a baby, and you're going to call him Yossi, and you live underneath. And your son's going to go out, grow up 2, 3, 4. He's going to go you're going to go in the stairs. And you're going to, Yossi, come upstairs. And this lady is upstairs listening to you saying, Yossi, come in from the playground, come in from playing outside with the kids. Did you bring your sandwiches, Yossi? Come on, get in the car, Yossi. Every time you're going to be saying Yossi, that woman on top is going to be feeling, why am I Yossi? That's why I want you to call your son Reuben. You have to be able to go on for that, yeah? That's gadlut. That's a chacham. That's not like looking all the time here. That's out of the box. That's what wisdom. Do you know why the Torah says these three categories have to go home? In order to save embarrassment of the people that think they've sinned. That's the only reason. It's a camouflage, says the Torah. This guy says, I think I sinned, so you're going to go home. Now you're standing there, everyone's looking, oh, Moshe. What sin did Moshe do? Let's think, huh? I wonder where Moshe has been, what he's been doing. Did he take something? Did he do something? Did he say Lashon Hara? Did he do? Everyone's checking you out now. Checking you out, that's it. Everyone's looking around. Wow, you sinned. Now it's a different kettle of fish. You're going home, he's going home, he's going home, he's going home. I don't know who planted a vineyard, who just got engaged, who got married, who this, who that. I don't know all the business, but everyone's going, oh, I don't know who sinned, who not. I've just saved embarrassing everybody. That's the only reason, according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, that you have these three. It's unbelievable.
So it filters out.
Yeah.
It filters out and leaves
Yeah.
you with what? 300 people.
Whatever it filters, whatever's left in there are the elite.
How can you know enough 300 as well?
No, you don't know anything. It's a shot. It's all to do with yourself. Only you know, you and God. But they were trusted them. But at the end of the day,
Oh, so they gave them excuses to leave. So if they wanted to leave, they just leave because they knew they were sinners, basically.
yeah. But it was a cover up.
The cover was like.
So
oh,
people
good,
wouldn't
he's got a
accuse
vineyard.
this guy. When you're standing there and you see
What
somebody,
happens if I'm standing next to him and I know he hasn't got a vineyard, he hasn't got any new house?
you never
hasn't
know.
got a thing,
That's
and
the
this guy's
point.
a
That's the
liar.
point. You're
No,
standing
but
next
you
to
don't know.
people.
But you don't know. Maybe in 2017, when you go to all the internet and everything, you think you know, and even then you don't know.
Yeah, but I come back
You
from the
don't
wall
know.
and I see this
Do you
guy
know?
clutching in his 15-year-old
You see these
house.
guys every Monday. Do you know everybody's business? Do you know what house they have? Do you know if it's their own? Did you know if they just had inaugurated a house or vineyard or got engaged?
Twitter. I'm following him on Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook.
I'm on Twitter, so I'm not watching you following.
Rabotai, the buck doesn't end over here. Now we go to level 2. Level 2 is the following.
That's pretty mad.
Level 2 is the following. Listen very carefully. You listening? Listening? 3 categories. Our rabbis tell us, you know what the worst kind of death is? Natural death. The worst natural death. Anyone know?
Okay, not embarrassment. Natural death.
Natural death.
Worse.
It's
Worse.
death by thirst.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
It's a good timing then.
Death by thirst.
Very good.
Why? Imagine somebody, God forbid, is in the desert, traveling for a few days, and they can't drink. And they can't find. And it's just moment after moment after moment after moment, and they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker till the neshama goes up to heaven. The worst kind of death, natural death.
Is it going in the same as starvation? Is this within?
Okay, everyone understand why, yeah? Now I'm going to add a level of intelligence to that comment. A level that we didn't know before. Do you know why it's such a bad death? Because,
So long.
it's an unbelievable thought.
Pain.
When a person is passing away after 120 years, they're on the deathbed, what are they supposed to be thinking of?
Torah, Teshuvah.
Yeah, sure.
What are they supposed to be thinking of, or what are they thinking of?
What are they supposed to be thinking of?
What they accomplished. What
Also,
can
maybe what they haven't accomplished.
They have 2 minutes left on this earth. What are they supposed
Say
to be
sorry
thinking
for
of?
everything.
Especially they
Say
live
thank
once.
you for everything.
Yeah.
So Johnny said an unbelievable thing to say thank you for everything. But you also need to say
Yeah,
sorry
so
for
you're lying in
everything.
a hospital
I know you
bed.
need to say sorry
You're
for
not
everything.
going
The thing
to
is,
say thank
when
you
you
to
go-
everyone.
when you go upstairs,
When you go upstairs, you can say thank you. It was good. Yeah, it was great. You know, I'm here now.
You can say,
I'm here
"Oh,
now.
I'm sorry."
But before you get upstairs, you still got seconds to ask God for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Once you're up there, that's it. Your time's up. You can't say, I'm sorry, you know. You can't kick a ball in the goal after 90 minutes. Doesn't make a difference. Oh, sorry, I need to kick it now. I was eating my sandwich. No, what difference? That's it. The whistle's blown. That's it. Yeah? So, whatever you can metaken, whatever you can fulfill in life, you need to fulfill it now. The famous story of Yisrael Salanta was going once. And he's walking, and it was very, very late at night. And all the town was a blackout. And he sees one light. Olden days, 200 years ago, hundreds of, yeah? He sees one place with a light. He says, wow. Knocks on the door, comes. He sees it's the local shoemaker. It's 2 o'clock at night. Everyone's sleeping. He says to the shoemaker, he says to him, what are you doing? Go to sleep. Shaharit, tomorrow, a few hours, go to sleep. He said to him, I'm fixing shoes. I said, I know you're fixing shoes, but now's not the right time, go to sleep. He said, listen, so long as the candle is on in my house, yeah, they put in fire, whatever, so long as the fire's on, the candle's burning, I'm gonna fix. When the candle goes out, it's natural, the candle goes out, I don't have any more fuel, and then I'll go to sleep. If you were Rabbi Yisrael Salant and you heard that, you'd think, okay, he's got a good point, right? Okay, maybe yes, maybe no. You'd walk away, say, Kol hakavod, go to sleep, li melan. He went out there and he said something unbelievable. He said, wow, Kol od, so long as the candle is alight, efshar letaken, you can fix. So long as the candle is alight, you can fix. The neshama is a candle. Your soul is a candle. So long as the candle, your neshama, is alight, you can fix. You can fix. You can fix. Whatever you've done in life bad, you can fix it. So when a person is about to pass away by thirst, it's the worst kind of death. You know why? Because he's not thinking of anything. I'm thirsty, I just want to drink. He doesn't have time to think about doing teshuvah. En lo zman, he's thirsty, he's thinking only about thirst. That's why it's the worst type of death. Originally we thought it's the worst type of death, okay, because it makes sense, it is the worst type of natural death. But now we've added a level, and beautiful idea. Do you know why it's the worst kind of death? Because
Basic need.
it means that he will not be able to do a proper teshuvah before he dies. And that's the worst. That's the worst. Rabotai, listen very carefully. There's a rabbi in Prague called Rabbi Jonathan Tawil. And one day a guy comes into Rabbi Jonathan Tawil and he says to him, listen, Amen. He says to him, Rabbi, I've got a question. I shechted an animal, slaughtered an animal. It's very expensive. It's a cow. It's got good meat. I'm wanting to check if it's kosher. He comes, he checks, does a check, backwards, forwards, 1 hour there, says, sorry, it's not kosher. 10,000 pounds down the drain. The guy is a bit upset, but it's okay. The Rabbi Paskin sells it on as treif meat. That's it, done. 2 weeks later, knocks on the rabbi's door. He says, Rabbi, my partner and I, we have a bit of a disagreement. We did a bit of a business deal. It's no big deal. It's about 25 pounds worth. But it's a principle. We want to come to the rabbi for guidance. He says it's his 25 pounds, and I say it's my 25 pounds. The rabbi said to him, okay, what's the details? I'll look into it. He looks into it, and afterwards he makes a psak, and he says, that guy was right. It is his 25 pounds. It's not your 25 pounds. At that point, the person flipped. Rabbi, you call yourself a rabbi. What are you doing here? You don't know how to paskin. You don't know how to posek. You don't know how to learn. You don't know how to this. What are you talking about? It's my money. It's mine. I told you all the proofs and this. It's mine. It's not his. Anyway, the rabbi proved him again. Listen, it's not his. This is what the Torah says. I'll show you here. Look. He didn't want to know. So the rabbi said to him, I don't understand you. You came to me 2 weeks ago. You lost 10,000 pounds. You didn't open a mouth. You come to me now, this guy is going to give £25. I've told him, I'm the same rabbi, yeah? I haven't changed. I've looked into it. He said, I'll tell you why you're like this. Because when it came to the first case, the only thing that you were losing was you were losing £10,000, but you were losing it to God. To God, okay. Now you're losing 25 quid, but someone else is going to gain that 25 quid that you can't take. If my loss is going to be your gain, okay, why should you get it? It's not. If my loss is going to be no one's gain, then it's okay. Yeah. Well, it's warped. It's wrong. When the guy's going for war, and he's got these three categories, he's fighting on the battlefield, and arrows are coming, and he's thinking, my loss is going to be his gain. I can't take that. I can't concentrate properly and fight a war. I'm going to lose my house. Someone else my next door neighbor, my wife, my this, my that. No. Say to him, go back home. Understand? Botai, this is the army 3,300 years ago, but this is the Torah in the year 5776, 2016-17. The Torah is still relevant to us nowadays. We have to make sure that we don't embarrass others on the peripheral. We have to make sure that our mind is on the teshuvah, that kol od, so long as the candle is alight, we can still do teshuvah. We have to make sure that we are, people that care. We are people that don't have to diss others all the time. This is the message of the Parsha, and this leads into this week's Parsha of Ki Tetsei LaMilchama. The Torah tells us about the battle that the Jews fought. When the Jews fighting the battles in this week's Parsha, they lead up to, they take captives, and this and that. We have to know who was a Jewish soldier in those days. It was a very special, highly ranked person. Okay. This is what I wanted to